Imagine a place vast enough to hold all of the world's information. A place filled with stories, music, art, history, commerce, and social interaction. The internet is that vast place of knowledge. And this story begins at a crucial time in its short history. In the late 1990s, a determined group of people with limited resources and lofty goals used a combination of effort, skill, and luck to fight for an open internet, with no one man controlling the experience. The first global web browser was created by the National Center for Supercomputer Applications, the NCSA for short. Their Mosaic browser was widely used and set the stage for the innovations to come. The Mosaic programmers soon created the first commercial web browser, called Netscape Navigator, which would eventually be renamed Communicator, then simply Netscape. In August 1995, Netscape went public, but less than 3 years later, Netscape's bubble would burst, and their status as an independent company would end.
This was a period when Microsoft and Netscape were competing for dominance of the web, and both of these browsers were trying to become the premier portal onto the web, the premier tool for people to get online. Now, Microsoft had a lot more resources than Netscape did, and one of the first things they did was to bundle Internet Explorer with the Windows operating system, along with some questionable business practices around making threats to computer manufacturers who were including Netscape. And they used this pressure, the bundling with Windows and the business relationships they had with computer manufacturers, to really force Netscape out of the market.
And by the second half of 1997, everyone was aware that Netscape was in trouble. Microsoft's plan to crush Netscape, revealed later at trial, had nothing to do with the technical aspects of their browser. Microsoft believed that people would simply use whichever browser came with their computer, which proved true for many years. The year was 1998. Tara Lipinski narrowly edged out Michelle Kwan in women's figure skating and became the youngest champion in an individual event in Olympic history. Hundreds were killed in the United States Embassy bombings in Africa. The creator of Batman, Bob Kane, passed away. Actress Elle Fanning was born. Bill Clinton was president. Shakespeare in Love won the Academy Award for Best Picture. And unbeknownst to most, the landscape of the internet was about to change forever. Facing the growing monopoly of Microsoft, and realizing that they could not continue with business as usual and still be competitive, the Netscape team determined that they needed a bold new vision.
They did something unprecedented. They decided to give away the source code for the browser. And the source code is the recipe, it's how you make it, it's the secret sauce behind the product. And their hope was that they would be able to rally a community of people from all over the web under the umbrella of this new organization called Mozilla to build the next generation web browser. And that by open sourcing, by inviting all of these volunteers into the project, they would be able to compete on a manpower level, on a programmer level, with Microsoft's 1,000 programmers working on IE.
On March 31st of 1998, the Netscape Communicator source code was released onto the internet through Mozilla.org. The open source release did little initially to change Netscape's fortunes. How an open source product could make money for the company was still unclear. With the future of the company still very much in doubt, a major development occurred in late 1998. AOL acquired Netscape. No one seemed quite sure of AOL's intentions, and the muddled waters of the internet became even murkier. Inside Netscape, many feared that AOL would pull the plug on their open source project. In February of 1999, Mitchell Baker became the general manager of Mozilla.org. Baker's background was in law, and she had previously worked in Netscape's legal department. She was the author of the Mozilla Public License, which was drafted to allow Netscape Communications to license their source code while still maintaining certain proprietary rights. Microsoft was busy defending itself against claims that it had become a monopoly by using unfair business practices. United States versus Microsoft was a set of consolidated civil actions filed against Microsoft on May 18, 1998 by the United States Department of Justice and 20 U.S. states. In several rulings by Judge Thomas Penfield Jackson, Microsoft was found to have, among other things, abused its monopoly in the desktop operating system market. They fought in court for years, and while it may have slowed them down, the court cases proved to be more than a minor nuisance for a company with nearly unlimited resources.
And they essentially disbanded the Internet Explorer team. People from that team went off to all kinds of other projects, to web TV and to other companies and organizations, and browsers were essentially done.
Mozilla began in 1998, and they fully expected to have a product shortly thereafter. But things did not go exactly as planned.
With revenue drying up for Netscape, AOL decided that they were not going to continue to fund Netscape's involvement in browsers. And that meant that all of the employees at Netscape who had been working on the Mozilla project were being laid off or transferred to other organizations. And in an attempt to keep the Mozilla project alive, our leader, current chairperson Mitchell Baker, went out and did fundraising and beating the bush and networking and meeting with people to try to create a new organization that could take over management of the Mozilla project.
AOL made a deal with Microsoft, then took Mozilla's assets and gave them to the people running the project. Mozilla's assets included the trademark, name, 4 servers that ran all of Mozilla.org, and $2 million in seed money. Microsoft bought AOL out of their own browser effort, and AOL began using Internet Explorer. The Mozilla Foundation was formed in part to secure and protect the future of the Internet. Its goal was to promote openness, innovation, and participation. Mozilla put their future in the hands of a new product that would, after several name changes due to the trademark issues, come to be known as Firefox. Mozilla needed to, according to Baker, go where the people are. They needed a product that would touch hundreds of millions of people. They needed to be committed to making their potential customers' lives better. They set out to create a product that was elegant, beautiful, and powerful. A product that people would love. A product that was easy to understand and had a singular purpose: to be the best browser on the market. It was a browser that the user could tailor to his or her needs. The open source code would allow for constant improvement. By the time Firefox 1 was released, Mozilla was beginning to realize that they had a real chance to succeed. People were starting to notice. With each new release, the number of people using Mozilla's browser grew. A commercial relationship with Google and Yahoo generated more for the company and allowed for greater future growth. Significant amounts of money began to pour in. They had made in a month what they thought they would make in an entire year. In August of 2005, the Mozilla Corporation was announced. It was a taxable subsidiary that served the goals of its parent company and its enormous community. By this time, Firefox had gained a 10% market share and had surpassed 75 million downloads. Firefox's market share would continue to climb, chipping away at Microsoft, a company most believed had already destroyed the competition. Luckily for hundreds of millions of Internet users, Mozilla never got the memo. With its first official release, Firefox was available in 28 languages. By the time version 4.0 saw release, that number had risen to 80. Mozilla creates one version, English. Its community creates versions for other languages. This is truly remarkable and shows the power of open source and community. With each version better than the last. Firefox version 2.0 was released in 2006, 3.0 in 2008, 3.5 in 2009, 3.6 in 2010, and 4.0 in 2011. After the release of Firefox 4, Mozilla initiated the rapid release development cycle, promising a new version of Firefox every 6 weeks or so. This switch was made to deliver new features, performance enhancements, security updates, and stability improvements to users faster, and to give users more opportunities to participate in building a better Firefox for tomorrow and beyond. The current thriving competition and continued innovation we experience in 2012 simply wouldn't exist if not for a small group of people who never lost sight of their vision of the open web. In the end, it's not about good guys and bad guys. It's not about one company being evil and another company being good. Nothing is ever that simple. The next time you surf the web, take a moment to think about those who made your internet experience possible. Source code itself might be confusing and uninteresting to many people, but freedom is something we can all understand and appreciate.